Hi, it's Heather with Murray's Home for Wayward Chickens, and I've decided that with the follow-up video for a really important ailment to discuss is actually vent gleat. And I don't know if any of you have too much experience with that. We have unfortunately had, I think, 2 or 3 instances of vent gleat. Excuse me. Vent gleat is awful. It is awful. Women out there will understand more so than anybody else. Vent gleat in a chicken is the equivalent to a yeast infection. And so if you see on the vent of your chicken where there's like a yellowish discharge or a foul smelling odor when you're near your chicken, that is an indication of vent gleat. It is so horribly irritating. That poor chicken is suffering if it has vent gleat. It is terrible. It can be treated with anti-fungal spray. So you can actually use athlete's foot spray, athlete's foot cream, Lotrimin, anything that's anti-fungal. We actually use human, I'm drawing a blank, yeast infection medicine. Hello. Sorry about that. So we get the generic form of the 7-day formula, and they're like capsules. They're like melted. They're like a waxy Vaseline type suppository. It's difficult when it comes to a chicken to treat them with that type of medicine because they only have one opening. And so when you put the suppository in, chances are the chicken's going to poop it out before it gets a chance to melt and actually absorb all of it. So what we do is we put it in a little dish and try to microwave it on a very low power just to soften it. You don't want to melt it or make it hot, just to get it to soften. And then wait for the chicken to poop. Once the chicken's pooped, there's a really good chance it's going to be a while before they poop again. So then you get the suppository, and that's it, right? Shove that suppository up your chicken's keister. In the meantime, those treatments, the yeast infection medicine for women comes with that tube of the exterior cream. Put that all around the edges and the exterior of your chicken's vent because it's going to soothe them. As irritating as anyone who's ever experienced a yeast infection can attest to, that's what your chicken is going through. And they don't have any way to do anything about it. So it needs to be treated. And if it's untreated, it can get so much worse. They can really get sick. There's only yellow secretion and the most horrific, horrible foul odor coming from your chicken. Chances are it's vent gleat. It can get crusty. I know this is pretty graphic, but when it happens, it's the same thing as having their balances off. So obviously roosters aren't going to get it. Not that I'm aware of. It's a hormone imbalance where there's too much yeast, the flora, the fauna, whatever his chickens have, gets out of whack and it can cause vent gleat. We tend to spray them with the athlete's foot spray. We use the cream, the Lotrimin cream, the antifungal cream, and we also do the exterior cream, the soothing cream that comes with the yeast infection medicine and the suppositories. One thing to be cautious of is make sure that you see positive results within the first 2 days of treatment. Because if you don't, there are actually 2 forms of vent gleat, which we just recently found out. One of them can be treated that way, and the other one is actually caused by the treatment. So if you don't see immediate results and your chicken being a lot more comfortable, then you need a vet and an antibiotic. Normally, antibiotics can cause yeast infections in people, and in this case, if it's one version of vent gleat or the other, either the antibiotic is going to cure it or the yeast infection treatment is going to cure it. If the yeast infection treatment isn't the one that's curing it, then they have the other version and the yeast infection medicine is going to make it worse. So be sure to watch very closely in the first 24 to 72 hours max that if you don't start seeing some signs that the chicken is more comfortable. Another thing you can do to help soothe the chicken, please, if you have a chicken with vent gleat, give them an Epsom salt bath in the kitchen sink. This is where you'll see that they soak their butts more so than any other time that they're in a bath. The Epsom salt is so soothing. You just kind of give them a little gentle push on their butt. Make the water a really good temperature that's warm and comfortable, that you can put your elbow in without burning it, like an infant. Once you just dip the chicken's feet in and let them know, then you can submerge them in the bath. Make sure you got the Epsom salts in there, and the water level should be about vent height. You don't want it too deep that they're gonna, because they will probably fall asleep. Our chickens fall asleep in the bath when you give them Epsom salt. You just kind of give them a gentle little push on their butt, and when they get that push in the butt, as soon as their vent hits the water, they realize how soothing it is. They don't pop back up out of the water. They will lower their butts, and they will sit, and they will enjoy that bath. And in about 15, 20 minutes, they will probably be asleep. Don't leave them unattended, but be sure to keep an eye on them. But after like 20 minutes or so, either make sure that the water temperature is still good, or take them out, dry them off. And I should have mentioned in the other video, when it comes to blow drying the chicken, I do it in sections, and I keep the chicken wrapped in the towel because they will catch a chill very quickly. So I do it sort of in quadrants. There's like right side, left side, top, and bottom, and then 5 actually in the back. And so each section that's getting blow dried is the only part that's exposed. And then after they're like halfway dry and I flip them around to do the other side, then you can leave them uncovered. But they should be kept warm and comfortable when they're being blow dried or when they're being bathed. Chickens are very, very tough animals. They're prey animals. So they do not want to show weakness. They don't want to show that they're vulnerable. But they're also at the same time, as tough as they are, they're very fragile. Once they're sick, it's really hard to come in late stages and be able to do anything to help them. So Gleet, that one it's not as common, but when it happens, you'll only have to experience it one time. And as soon as you do, you'll never forget it, and you'll be able to detect it very quickly. So this one was a little graphic, but if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you want to hit the like or subscribe button, we would love that too. We'll be back next time. Thanks. Have a great day.